So, we all know that we are supposed to rest and wait patiently on the Lord to fulfill his promises and for us to see the promises that he has made to us, communicated with us to manifest in our lives. But if we are having an honest conversation, sometimes waiting hurts. Sometimes waiting feels frustrating. And we have to be honest when we are in this place in order to safeguard ourselves against the things that threaten our promise when we are in that place of being frustrated, when we are in that place of being hurt and tired of waiting for the promise to actually manifest. So for those of you who have never been here before, I would like to welcome you. My name is Shalomith, and I would like to welcome you to another Shalomith Inspires Sunday School. So let's get right into this. Today, we are coming from Psalm 37. We are all very familiar with Psalm 37, or a lot of people who have been in church their whole lives are probably familiar with Psalm 37. I was reading Psalm 37 today, and what I actually realized is that there are five common things that come up against us when we are waiting for the promise of God, when we are waiting for the promises to manifest. These five things are so common that God went ahead of us and identified the five things in Psalm 37. I actually never noticed this before, so I am excited to share or to go over and unpack the five things that we need to be aware of, that we need to safeguard ourselves against as we are waiting for the promises of God to manifest in our lives. So let's read this. Psalm 37 says this. It says, "Fret not thyself because of evil doers, neither be thou envious against the workers of iniquity. For they shall soon be cut down like the grass and wither as the green herb. Trust in the Lord and do good. So shalt thou dwell in the land, and verily thou shalt be fed. Delight thyself also in the Lord, and he shall give thee the desires of thine heart. Commit thy way unto the Lord. Trust also in him, and he shall bring it to pass. And he shall bring forth thy righteousness as the light and thy judgment as the noonday. Rest in the Lord and wait patiently for him. Fret not thyself because of him who prospers in his way, because of the man who brings wicked devices to pass. Cease from anger and forsake wrath. Fret not thyself in any wise to do evil. I'll go a little while and it'll a little further, and it says, "For evildoers shall be cut off, but those that wait on the Lord, they shall inherit the earth." Now that is Psalm 37, verses 1 through 10. And I want to unpack the five things that God identifies that we need to be aware of as we are waiting. The first one is frustration. Frustration. It's very easy to get frustrated with how long it's taking when it's taking longer than we want it to. I'll say it again. Frustration is number one. When we're waiting for the husband, waiting for the wife, waiting for the healing, waiting for the new job, waiting for the change in circumstance, waiting for God to take care of the person who is getting on our nerves, waiting for God to move our enemies, waiting for God to lift us up and elevate us above our enemies. When we are waiting, initially, when we get the promise, we are excited and we are happy and we are hopeful and we can't wait for the promise to come. But after 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, it's easy to get frustrated. And when you get frustrated, it puts us in a place where we are just flat out sick of waiting. And frustration is dangerous because when you're sick of waiting, right, it kind of opens up the door for you to go into this mode of doing anything necessary to make it happen. So we start out on this path where it's like, okay, God, I am trusting in you to bring me my husband. I'm trusting in you to bring me my wife. I'm trusting in you to elevate me to a better place. I'm trusting in you for whatever you are trusting in God for, right? But when it doesn't happen and you get weary and you get sick of the situation, because let's be honest, it's not that we're just waiting. We usually are in a situation we don't want to be in while we're waiting. The loneliness gets frustrating at times. Having to deal with a person who is constantly coming up against you, who is constantly an adversary, that gets frustrating to the point where you're like, hey, God, I know I'm supposed to be waiting on you, but I'm about to seek vengeance on my own because I cannot deal with them any longer. Right. The second thing is jealousy. When you are waiting and you are tired and sick and tired of waiting, and when waiting starts to hurt, it's very easy for jealousy to seep in. You know why? Because you start to look around and you start to see other people who don't do it God's way get the blessing. Because we've all been in a position where you're looking around and you're like, wait, I'm trying to do this God's way. I'm trying to wait on God's timing. And this person is out here. They live together, they sleep together, they taking trips. We know they committing fornication and they are happily married and they found they're doing couples goals on Instagram and YouTube. And it's easy for jealousy to seep in when you're waiting from that place of being you're not patiently waiting, right? So when we get to a place where we're looking around and it's like, wait a minute, I'm patiently waiting, I'm doing everything on the up and up, and I'm following the practices of integrity, and I'm being morally correct. But I'm looking around at this person who lied on their tax returns. I'm looking at this person who lied on the business application. I'm looking at this company that lied to get the funding, lied to get the grant, and they are flourishing. That can breed the seed of jealousy because you're looking around at other people who are getting results. And it's like you become jealous because it seems like everyone else is getting ahead. It doesn't even have to be that the other people are doing something nefarious to get ahead. If your heart posture is not right, and if you are sick and tired, and if waiting is starting to hurt, and you're looking around and it looks like everybody else is getting married, it looks as if everyone else's business is taking off. It looks as if everyone else is popping off on social media and got thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of followers. It looks like you're getting left behind. In that waiting period, when you are feeling the hurt of feeling as if you are being left behind, you're feeling the hurt of feeling as if you have been forgotten. It is very easy for jealousy to seep in. It's very easy for jealousy to seep in. It's very easy to look at people, whether they're doing things right or wrong, for jealousy to seep in. It's easy to look at people who are doing it the wrong way and become envious. Is That's why Psalm 37 opens up with frets, meaning worry not, don't trouble yourself, don't trip. That's what fret not means. Fret not thyself because of evildoers, neither be thou envious against the workers of iniquity. That verse opens up with that because God knows that while we're in the waiting season, it's easy to look around at people who are doing things dishonest and it seems as if they're getting ahead. It's easy to become envious of what they're achieving. And God said, don't trip over them. They're going to soon be cut down. Don't trip over people who are prospering because of the the man who brings wicked devices to pass. When we go down to 7, it says, fret not thyself because of him who prospers in his way, because of the man who brings wicked devices to pass. So God is saying, I know you're looking over there, and I know that you know that they lied on the application, but don't become jealous of them for getting the job because of their wicked devices that they put in place to get that. I know you're looking over there and you see how they living in the best houses and they drive the best cars and they take the best vacations, but you know that they're robbing people, that they're running a Ponzi scheme or whatever they're doing. Don't look at that and become envious of the person who prospers because of the wicked devices that they have put into place. Don't do that. because God knows that as soon as you do that, number three comes into place, which is temptation. Because at that point, you become tempted to get it by any means necessary. It's very easy for Satan to start to whisper in your ear and say, I don't know why you're doing it God's way, because God's way is getting you nowhere. You're trying to hold out. You're trying to not have sex before marriage. You're trying to choose somebody who is a Christian, and everybody else around you is getting married and they got relationship goals and they're posting, and you still over here single. That temptation comes in, and then you start to be like, you know what? I maybe God's way ain't the way. That temptation, Psalm 37 is warning us against temptation. That's why it's saying, trust in the Lord and do good. Trust in the Lord and do good. God knows that it's going to look like the other way is the best way. But God is saying, trust me and continue to do good. Trust me and continue to be honest. Trust me and continue to fill out your tax returns honestly. Trust me and continue to engage in relationships the way I call and require you to engage in relationships. Trust me and continue to be honest when you pursue the grant, when you pursue when you fill out your job application. Trust me and do good. Don't fret looking at people who are doing it the wrong way, who seem like they're getting ahead of you. Don't fret over people who are not doing it my way, who are still getting the marriage and still getting the relationship and still posting relationship goals. Don't fret when you see people who are Christian living together, living in sin, happy, and you over there single. Don't fret. Trust me and still do good. Trust me and do good. The fourth thing that Psalm 37 warns us about is doubt. Is doubt. Because when when waiting hurts, you start to doubt the promise. When waiting hurts, you start to doubt, did I really see what you showed me, God? Is that really your plan for me? Do you really have a husband for me? Do you really have a wife for me? Is the business really, is it really doubt? Doubt comes in again when Psalm 37:3 is saying, trust in the Lord and do good. So shall you dwell in the land, and verily you will be fed. You will eat. You will get yours. You will get the promises that I have promised unto you. Trust. Trust. So it's warning us against doubt when the waiting hurts. The fifth thing that Psalm 37 warns us about is impatience. Impatiently waiting. What does it look like to impatiently wait? To impatiently wait, let's break it down to, have you ever had to boil water before you add the pasta for the noodles? So the water has to come to a boil before you can add the noodles into the water. A person who is impatiently waiting, you're standing there staring at the pot, waiting for the water to boil. That is an antagonizing way to wait for that water to boil. It feels as if it's taking forever for the water to boil, right? That's impatiently waiting. Have you ever been waiting for a ride to pick you up and you stand at the door, constantly looking out the door, constantly looking out the window, waiting for them to show up? You are fixated on looking out the window. That's impatiently waiting. You're pacing back and forth, pulling the curtain back. Are they there yet? Pacing back and forth, pulling the curtain back. Are they there yet? Pacing back and forth, pulling the curtain back. Are they there yet? That's a painfully waiting experience. You're constantly staring at the water and looking at your watch, staring at the water and looking at your watch. You're turning the fire up as high as the fire can go because you're trying to rush and get the water to boil. When you stand and you're staring and you're fixated on the thing, waiting for it to come, that is impatiently waiting. The way that you wait patiently is you need to preoccupy yourself. It's a different experience if I turn on the water and I'm waiting for the water to boil. And while I'm waiting for the water to boil, I decide to fold some clothes. It's a different experience if while I'm waiting for the water to boil, I throw on a Netflix series that I'm watching. It's a different experience because I'm folding clothes and the time goes by extremely fast. And before I know it, it's like, oh, I forgot. I was waiting for the water to boil and the water is boiling over and I'm rushing to add the noodles now. Or I get so caught up in the Netflix series that I'm watching that I forget that I'm not even focusing on the fact that I'm waiting for the water to boil. And before I know it, the water is boiling. The same thing when you're waiting for your ride to pick you up, right? If you say, okay, I'm going to jump in the shower before they get here, that same window of time, if it takes them 30 minutes to pick you up, if you try to jump in the shower, get dressed, do your hair, if you preoccupy yourself, it's going to seem like they come way too quickly. It's right. But if you're standing there, it's the same 30 minutes feels like an excruciating time. One of the reasons it's hard for us to wait is because we are not preoccupying ourselves with the things we're supposed to be doing in the meantime. So if you preoccupy yourself with the things that you're supposed to be doing in the meantime, the wait does not hurt as much. If you're waiting for your husband, there's a lot of things you can be doing. How about working out every day? How about working on whatever it is God has placed in you to build? Build the business, build a nonprofit, redo your wardrobe, commit to a schedule where your self care routine becomes a consistent self care routine. Rediscover what you like to do and find the concerts you want to go to, find the places that you want to travel to. Plan girls' trips. If you don't have any girlfriends, immerse yourself in social environments so that you meet new people. Preoccupy yourself. Because when you preoccupy yourself with your purpose, the waiting doesn't hurt as bad. But when you're not preoccupying yourself and you're constantly staring out the window looking for your husband to show up, if everywhere you go, is he going to be at church this Sunday? Is my husband going to be at this party? Am I going to meet my husband when I go to the mall? I wonder if you're constantly fixated on looking out the window, waiting for the husband to show up, and you are not preoccupied with the other things that you should be doing in the meantime, the waiting hurts. The waiting hurts. If you have a vision that God is going to bless you with the business, if you have a vision that God is going to move the person who irritates you out of the way, if you have the vision that you're going to get whatever it is you're praying for, how can you preoccupy yourself in the meantime? How can you rest your mind in the meantime? 37:7 says, rest in the Lord. Rest in the Lord and wait patiently for him. And wait patiently for him. Rest means don't worry. It doesn't mean you're not doing anything. Rest means you're not tripping. Rest means you're not constantly going to the window, pulling the curtain back, seeing if they show up. So resting means relax. Resting means be calm. Resting means be at peace while you wait. It doesn't mean you're not doing anything. It just means you're not stressed. It means that you're not fretting. Otherwise, the waiting hurts. So, this is what I wanted to come on to talk about. I want to encourage you. Listen, waiting to the way you wait in a way that doesn't hurt is one, trust the process, trust in God's promises. So, God is addressing the frustration and He's telling you, trust. That's one of the ways that you alleviate the pain. You trust. Because when you don't trust, you start to forfeit the promise. You start to forfeit the promise because when you don't trust God, you don't trust God's way. If you don't trust God to deliver in that moment, you don't trust God's way. And when you start to do it your own way, you forfeit the promise. What I'm saying is, if you don't trust God to bring you your husband, then you start to do what the rest of the world is doing because it seems like they're getting results. So you're like, those narratives start to sink in. You can't be with a man and expect him not to have sexual desires. If you don't give it to him, he gonna get it from somewhere else. Trust. Don't fret because of the way the evildoers do it. Don't fret because of those who do it the wrong way. Trust and still do good. Because when you don't trust, you start to do it the wrong way. So trust the process. Secondly, the way you stop the hurting and the wait. Preoccupy yourself. The way that you rest, the way you don't trip, the way that you rest, the way that you wait in peace is you need to preoccupy yourself. Rest in your purpose. Settle in. Settle in your purpose. Settle in other things you can be building. Settle in being the best version of yourself. Settle in getting your look together. Settle in getting in shape. Settle in your self care routine. Settle in having fun. Settle in reconnecting with your hobbies and the things you love. Rest in that and wait patiently. But don't just stand there fixated, waiting for it to show up, because that makes the waiting painful. Do not feel tempted to do things the wrong way. Keep doing things the right way. So, the takeaway, the way you alleviate the pain from waiting is I need you to trust again. I need you to believe in God's way again. Trust. Pray to God. Let be honest. God, it's been taking so long. I don't believe anymore. Help my unbelief. Restore my faith. Trust again. Continue to do good. The God's way is the right way. Anything that you have to do the wrong way to get is not for you. Anytime you're trying to force the timing, is not the right timing. Continue to do the right thing. Learn how to enjoy yourself in the moment, because the more you learn how to enjoy yourself in the moment and you're not so fixated on the outcome, the waiting doesn't hurt as bad. The wait hurts because you're constantly disappointing yourself. The wait hurts because you're constantly trying to force it to be now, to be today. And you're so fixated on what you want today. You're so fixated on what you don't have today that you're not being grateful for what you do have today. Don't be so fixated on what has not shown up yet that you are not enjoying what you already have. Enjoy the people who are around you now. Enjoy the friendships that are around you now. Enjoy the things you can do to enjoy yourself now, and stop being fixated on the things that have not shown up yet that you think that should be here now. Because if it was in your best interest for them to be here now, they will be here now. So don't forfeit the promise. Don't walk away from your promise because you walk away from doing it God's way. Stay in God's way. Continue to do good. Continue to trust and preoccupy yourself. Those are the keys. Get your trust back. 1, continue to do good. 2, preoccupy yourself in things that are good. 3, I'll say it again. Trust and believe again. 1. Number 2, preoccupy yourself. That's the second thing, right? Trust and do good. Preoccupy yourself and continue to do good and believe again. So trust, continue to do good, preoccupy yourself. Trust, continue to do good, and preoccupy yourself. That is the way you alleviate the pain, the hurt, and waiting. All right. I love you so much. Um, if you're going to wait patiently, I want you to leave a comment and tell me I'm going to wait patiently. I'm going to rest in the Lord and I'm going to wait patiently. I am going to trust again. Let me tell you, God's promises for you are still good. Somebody needs to hear this. If anybody hearing the sound of my voice, if you're starting to doubt whether or not what God promised you, I'm here to tell you, God's promises for you are still good. He is working on it. Chill out, rest, trust, believe again. Restore your faith. Continue to do good. Your good doing is not in vain. That's scripture. Continue to do good and preoccupy yourself. I love you so much. Today's lesson came from Psalm 37. I would love for you to leave a comment, a declaration saying, I am going to rest and wait patiently on the Lord in the comments below. Share this video with anyone who needs to hear it, who needs to be encouraged, anyone you know who is hurting, who's hurting in the wait. Send them this video so that they can have encouragement. I hope that you have encouragement during the wait. Don't die in the wilderness. Don't get weary in the wilderness. The promises are good. What's the three things? Let me hear you say it back to me. I'm going to pretend like I hear you saying it back to me. Trust, continue to do good, and preoccupy yourself. I love you so much. And until next Sunday, be blessed.